Soccer returns tonight to the banks of the Reedy River, a duel of the champions, the 2019 League One title holders, North Texas SC, hitting the road tonight to face off with the now defending champions, the Greenville Triumph SC, in our match tonight presented by Spinks. I'm Chris Pekovic, alongside me Ross Davenport. Happy to be back with you for another season of USL League One soccer here in Greenville, South Carolina. Both these teams starting off their seasons with 3 points last week in their openers, trying to keep that consistency going that we saw from them in the first 2 years of existence. For the Triumph, getting it done late on the road against Richmond.
Yeah, dominated this game the first half hour, and obviously a red card evened things up, and then Greenville, they had one real foray into that final third, and it resulted in that key own goal.
Yeah, key own goal by Luke Pavone, giving the Triumph 3 points. Our Joan Herlong and Associates player to watch for tonight's action, Max Hemmings, the best chance of the night for the Triumph on the offensive end.
Yeah, he almost got on the scoreboard there with that great save from Fitzgerald. Harks loves Max Hemmings, one of these guys that can play any position across the back line or the midfield. Started
at center back against Richmond. He's in the midfield today. We'll see where he lines up coming up shortly. Well, Greenville, stellar start to their campaign as a club overall in League One, of course. 2019 a finalist, and then lifting the cup last year in 2020. The defense is the key for the Triumph. They led the league in shots on goal per game allowed, and then of course Dallas J helps in between the pipes. 23 clean sheets in their existence. That's about 50% of their matches, and 14 players returning from the roster. That consistency always going to help for a side like the Triumph. Now North Texas, a lot of new faces, Ross, but the same powerful offense last week.
Yeah, fell behind twice, but got 2 goals from rookie Jaquel, including that free kick there, and yeah, nice 4-2 victory to start things off.
Jaquel, the player of the week in USL League One, a player that actually spent some time in college with J.J. Donnelly. We'll see if they hit the field together here tonight. Well, coming up, it's North Texas and Greenville, the two sides, only sides to finish in the top 3 in both seasons of League One competition. We'll see if they can get things going again for the 2021 campaign. A duel of the champions coming up next with lineups and kick.
When you donate blood with the Blood Connection, you're helping to save lives right here in your community. Donate blood with the Blood Connection, your community blood center.
From boardroom to the showroom, storefront to doorfront, lobby sign to freeway sign. Designing, developing, installing, and elevating your brand. The trusted name is Wrap and Roll Graphics. Providers of fleet graphics, wall murals, and architectural enhancements. Now is the time to drive attention and strengthen your brand. It's time to Wrap and Roll.
The unstoppable spirit lives inside all of us. For Matt and Lisa Kuhn, it's fueled by family, with a business backed by an unbreakable bond and a passion to innovate. They've become leaders in last-mile transportation. That's why First Horizon is proud to celebrate unstoppable spirits like Matt and Lisa. From the first stop to the final destination, we use our understanding to keep our clients on their unique path to success.
Welcome back here into Greenville, South Carolina, as we prepare for our match presented by Spinks, a duel of the champions between North Texas SC and the Greenville Triumph. As you see the trophy there in midfield, and there it is, the signage to go along with the champion mark, 2020 USL League One champions.
Yeah, a lot better than finalists. It was disappointing end to the season that we didn't get to play the final, but deserved winners.
For sure. Now let's take a look at our starting 11 for the Greenville Triumph, presented by Bon Secours.
Well, the Triumph are a little short-handed today. No Alex Morello, no Apolado due to injuries. Cesar Murillo suspended, but we do have Evan Lee back in his normal position at center back, and that's allowed Max Hemmings to push into the midfield and fill in there where he needs to be.
Yeah, we're still learning this offense a bit, how they're going to pair up Lomas and McLean as we move ahead in the season, so we'll see how that continues into the second match for the Triumph this season here tonight. Eric Quill, John Harkes meeting ahead of the match today at midfield. Both coaches of the year in their respective championship years. Eric Quill back in 2019, and two competitors on the MLS pitch together as well recently. North Texas SC starting 11 presented by Bon Secours.
Two changes for North Texas in goal. Richard Sanchez comes in to replace Colin Shuttler, the rookie, and then Kazu in at left back. We should see Bruce, perhaps partner Jekyll up top, and sometimes more of a 4-4-2. And with Waldeck, that was also now moving up from his traditional fullback position to where he played in college at Stanford into the midfield.
Yeah, Richard Sanchez in goal now. Experience in Major League Soccer. 1 year as the starter for Chicago Fire recently. Someone familiar coming up through FC Dallas as well now with North Texas SC deeper in his career. The North Texas second match of the season, of course. Eric Quill this year as they look for another 3 points today. Both sides undefeated so far. Points per game so far in the table. It's Omaha, North Texas, and Greenville at the top. Something we're familiar with from the end of last season, of course.
Yeah, on Kentucky Derby Day, we've got two thoroughbred teams here, but they do it in two different ways, Chris. Almost like a front runner and a closer on the horse track. One team very technical on the ball. Greenville with that solid defense.
The fans getting set for the match, of course, and that's one part of this that we do take for granted, but after last year we certainly can't. COVID capacity sellout, they're calling it for this one, and that's a terminology we'll probably be using all of 2021.
No, Greenville would hope to be taking advantage of that today, a smaller stadium of North Texas play, in the cavernous home stadium. But yeah, 1,700 fans there today for the boys in green, and hopefully they'll be cheering them on for 94 minutes to victory.
Of course, that brand new kit for Greenville Triumph shown there, the Hummel kit. Finders at the Triumph team store downtown. Sergei Demianchuk overseeing things in the middle of the field as we get set to get things going with North Texas trotting out onto the pitch. Two teams, very contrasting styles overall in their League One tenure, but they both get it done. One of those beautiful things about soccer, you can win in different ways. The high-flying offense of North Texas and the more defense, tough, blue-collar, gritty style of Greenville, getting those 1-0 results if needed.
Yeah, even with the changes for North Texas, they have the technical ability to put scores up like we saw last week with the 4 goals, including 3 in the last 20 minutes. But 4 goals against Greenville is no easy task. Actually, 1 goal against Greenville is no easy task, Chris.
No, that's for sure. The meeting last year, really a nail-biter, came down to around the 85th minute when Greenville finally found their goal for the match, winning that one 1-0. But that was the problem really for North Texas last year. As good as they were, they led the league in goals per game. They struggled at times offensively. That included later in the season. Eric Quill told us on our call this week that he feels like he has more going forward this year for that high-powered offense, maybe like we saw 2 years ago. So to be seen if that continues from their 4 goals against Fort Lauderdale last week.
Yeah, it's scary stuff, but this is a big test for them here against a much more disciplined and veteran defensive lineup for the Greenville Triumph compared to Fort Lauderdale, who have looked good going forward but have some defensive liabilities here and there.
We're off and running here from Greenville, South Carolina. It's the Triumph and North Texas SC doing battle in a battle of the champions. Again, I'm Chris Makoviak. Happy to have you with us. Alongside me, Ross Davenport. Back with you for another season of USL League One soccer here in the upstate of South Carolina. North Texas getting things going early on, and Eric Quill alluded to it a lot to us in our call this week, that really he's more worried about his side making mistakes. He wants them to be patient, more disciplined out there, and maybe even play like the experienced side of the Triumph in order to try to get the result on the road today.
No, 100%. There's a man on the ball now with that discipline. We saw him last week getting plenty of chances, Don Smart, to get the ball into the box. That was one thing that Eric Quill was very concerned about. Greenville's ability to get that service into the danger area.
Yeah, both goals given up to Fort Lauderdale by North Texas were on crosses into the box. So that's one area they're thinking about as we head into the match, especially with a team in Greenville that does love that service in from the wing. We'll see Greenville on that side, on the far side of the pitch to get things going. It's Derek Waldeck that steps up and takes it away. More of a midfield role for him today. Always wanted to get up the pitch a bit.
Yeah, he used to be able to get on the scoreboard when he was at Stanford, especially in his junior and senior years. So this is maybe more of a comfortable spot for him. He struggled at times last year at the fullback position, got exposed. He was beaten for that first goal last week. So interesting move by Eric Quill, though. Obviously a little short at the back already with some centre-back issues. They've got two defensive midfielders playing there again today.
Yeah, that's the issue so far for a lot of teams, frankly, in League One. They're waiting for players to get in from their international areas or even to get cleared after they did, get them match fit in practice, of course. I know North Texas, their staff, very excited about Juan Parra, the Colombian center back that is in the 18 today, but still progressing his way to get into starting ability. Mikey Maldonado, one of the trialists that ended up making the North Texas roster out there along with Alisson, someone that League One fans should be very familiar with from last year. Nice little flick there. Abdi Muhammad starting today at that right back spot for Greenville. Of course, Murillo, the one that got the red card about 40 minutes into the match against Richmond, so he's out today against his former club. But Abdi Muhammad, he did not start, had to go home to his native Ohio to see his family. His father, unfortunately, dealing with a heart attack, and hopefully he's doing well. But Abdi back this week into his normal right back spot, someone that missed some time in preseason, but John Hark said it's a credit to him. He can miss time in the preseason, a few weeks at that, and he's right back like he always was there with his skill. Ball floated in, and that will trickle out of the box back to North Texas.
Yeah, two very difficult opponents in their first two games for Greenville. Richmond expected to really contend this year. Obviously, North Texas always just bringing in new players and playing this exciting brand of football, always contending. And with Greenville, with their injury issues and obviously the red card now, if they can pull out two victories in two games, being as short-handed as they are, will be a great start for John Harkes' men.
Greenville trying to pounce the other way. Here's Andrew Booth, the ball ahead. Lomas is there, but first is Richard Sanchez. Let's take a look at our injury report for tonight's action presented by Wilson and Engelbart. Quite a few names up there for the Greenville Triumph. Nothing doing for North Texas.
Yeah, but only the 5 on the bench for Greenville tonight, and one of those being a goalkeeper. So John Harkes will be hoping his men can stay as healthy as possible, as long as possible in this one.
Yeah, good news. Evan Lee is back starting today for the Greenville Triumph after he was out. Max Hemmings, versatile player he is, able to step into the midfield today. More like his normal role, I guess you could say. His first start in League One at center back. All he did was get onto the team of the week, but that's
right.
all, I guess. Here's Hemmings stepping up the field, tried to play it ahead, and he's brought down from behind. It's going to be a free kick to the Greenville Triumph.
Yep, clattered into there by Avayevi, who had that beautiful assist on the first goal. That one's a little heavy for Polak.
A player that North Texas is very excited about to see come through the pipeline. Long story short, saw him at the 2019 Dallas Cup with his club team out of Ghana, and he stuck around for about a month, trained with the FC Dallas personnel, and loved him so much they waited until he was 18, signed him up, and now he's with North Texas. Foul called, and dangerous area maybe for the Triumph.
Yeah, Eric Quill talked about set pieces and how he didn't want to give away silly fouls in the final third, because Greenville's height advantage against this relatively small but quick North Texas team could perhaps be a problem. We'll get an early chance here to see if Tyler Polak or Aaron Walker can put one into the danger zone.
Yes, sir. Service into the box One of the high points of that Richmond match, especially on that Hemmings chance, John Harkes praising Pollock for that ball he put in on that day. This time it will be Walker to the right side. Ball headed back over, flicked, it's in! The Triumph score early, the 7th minute. And they're on the board.
I think it was Marius Lomas, perhaps. This is exactly what Eric Quill talked to us this week about what they had to worry about. The second ball from these set pieces, and a killer first 10 minutes here, goal for Greenville.
Lomas had a brilliant start to the season, or I should say preseason, against Lou City, getting a brace in that friendly with the championship side. Let's take a look here on the Green Cloud defense replay.
Yeah, floated in by Aaron Walker. Greenville loves these back put. I'm not sure if that was an own goal or if Lomas is claiming it, that's for sure. But he was celebrating it like it might have come off it almost looked like it might have come off a North Texas player.
That was a beautiful back heel if it was that. Right there, and that goal presented by Lomas and YMCA of Greenville. Well, that's a dream start for the Triumph, and we mentioned it before, Ross. Some questions there for North Texas covering those crosses, those set pieces. Gave up an early goal here. Now they're in a hole in the road.
Yeah, I couldn't tell who had the header back across, but he was far too wide open. No pressure on him, and it was a beautiful set piece they clearly worked on in training.
Now, Eric Quill told us in our call this week all about the response against Fort Lauderdale. They were down 2 times. They answered with goals. They're down again here early on. Let's see if they can answer.
Yeah, far too early for Greenville, to really sit back like they had to last week when they were a man down. So I still think we'll see plenty of chances for North Texas as this game goes on. They've just got too much potent talent. Lomas, if you remember, Chris, had a great start in 2019. He scored goals in 6 of his first 7 games and then missed nearly 5 months with a broken ankle. That's going to be a foul there and maybe a card. Yep.
Our first yellow of the match does come as Aaron Walker went down with the foul. And they're giving the card to Alisson. Abdi Mohammed, right side, servicing, cleared out of play on the block. It's going to be a corner kick for the Triumph, presented by PNC Bank. For every Triumph corner kick, PNC Bank will contribute to Overbrook Elementary School.
Don Smart going to deliver this one right in front of the new TIFO present. What should we call it, Chris? A presenter? It's a nice little spot. They got pulleys and everything. Another set piece. Perhaps another chance to cause North Texas some trouble. Not this time, though.
Alisson with the header at the near post, clearing it out of play on the far side. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of USL League One and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. Ball sent in, and that Select ball is cleared. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com. North Texas trying to get out of their own half at this point. Greenville bringing the pressure. Pollock up ahead. Now McLean out on the wing. Got by the first defender. Now Smith tracking him. Ball sent in and cleared on the volley.
This is very similar to how Greenville started last week against Richmond, putting the early pressure on, the fullbacks getting forward and creating all sorts of havoc. North Texas got to be careful here. There's lovely footwork here by McLean. He got a little lucky on the bounce, but he's a handful with his height and his skill with both feet.
Another PNC corner kick. And Pollock in the end, that ball going just out inside the flag, so it was a throw-in. Right back where they started, now Pollock.
I think I just saw Tyler Polak deliver across with his right foot, Chris. Not something you see happen too often.
Petted dexterous, I guess. Things opening up for North Texas. Alex Bruce sending it up the field. Avayevu brought down from behind by Booth. Nothing doing there, says our head official.
So he got crushed by Andrew Booth, but it was after the ball had gone. Referee took a good look at it, decided there was nothing there. He's still down.
Play continues. North Texas on the attack. Falls through, and Jay not coming out for it. It's Polak. Goes down against Rayo. We'll see if Avayevu was able to get to his feet. Let us know when you want to do building blocks. Building blocks. Let's take a look at our building blocks for success. Let's take a look at our building blocks for success today, presented by Harper General Contractors. Ross, take it away.
I think for Greenville, the key is just to be themselves. Don't try to, not stoop low, but change their game plan because of what North Texas brings with their technical prowess, etc., and their young speed. Play your own game. Don't get drawn out of position. One thing Eric Quill talked to us about Greenville was their real discipline. They really stay within themselves. They don't play a pretty simple game. But North Texas, watching these young kids pinging around can frustrate you at times. And for North Texas, just having that discipline, as we said, the Greenville has in droves. These young kids, discipline and patience, it's not something you normally associate with young players, so especially on the road on their first trip of the year.
Yeah, big moment for them. Eric Quill said it best to us, said that he felt like a lot of the new guys on his team, we talked about a lot of new faces, he said, quote, an eye-opening experience was going to meet them in Greenville compared to the home match against Fort Lauderdale last week. And that says a lot about his respect for the Triumph, of course, and what they've accomplished in USL League One. And he attributed that to their blue-collar nature on the field, very physical battle. And we've, of course, seen that in the first 14 minutes of play in front of us so far.
And an early goal here. We've also had an early goal in South Georgia, Chris. Tormenta with a 1-0 lead over Tucson.
Alisson back over to his keeper, Sanchez. North Texas stepping up the field here, a minute 15. Don Smart will retreat back to help out and send this over to Jay. The next Triumph home match is Sunday, May 16th. Get your $15 Sunday Fun Day fan package, sponsored by Kendall's Grill, before we sell out. You can get your Sunday Fun Day package at greenvilletriumph.com. Of course, that match, a big one on ESPN2 as they work their pseudo-final weekend, I guess you could call it. What didn't happen now happens. Phoenix and Tampa Bay on Saturday doing battle in USL Championship, and then, of course, Greenville and Omaha on the Sunday. Alex Bruce into the box. Ball settled down by Lee, and credit to Rayo, stayed with it. Back out. Kazu from deep, and the first save of the day goes to Dallas J.
Oh, decent shot from distance from Kazu. Quill talked about getting shots on Dallas J, making him work early. Didn't test him much there, but you're making him think about potential of North Texas shooting from distance.
That was the problem in their loan meeting last year at this venue. North Texas, they had 7 shots. They had none on target. Really were stymied by the Triumph on that night. It's now Kazu. Work back and play. Booth cross in, header down, but off of Lomas the wrong direction. Smart stays with it, fires it. It's blocked by Waldeck. Now Walker.
Lovely work by Abdi Mohammed to keep that one in. I'm not sure how he did it. And I'm also not sure how Lomas missed. It seemed like the ball went backwards. Perhaps we'll get another look at it in a bit.
Triumph will reset through Fricky.
Josh Phelps with the goal for Tormenta, Chris. One converted defender, now playing forward, something you don't see too often.
He has many hats there. At one point, he was the director of franchise development for Tormenta.
Obviously, a lot more use on the field. Not saying he's not good off the field, but goals are hard to come by.
There's something new Ian Cameron tried out Tormenta when he took over near the end of last season, moving Phelps up the field, more of a hold-up striker. Now Smart, working it back to Hemmings. Muhammad stepping up. Now we talk a lot about the offense of North Texas, but Greenville very efficient themselves last year. Ball headed up, brought down, but this will be cleared by Smith. At least you thought for a moment, still rattling around. And finally cleared. Both these teams were tied for the league lead in shots on goal per game. Really efficient offenses when you got down to it. And so far, mostly Greenville in this one. Smart on the near side.
Here's one thing Eric Quill talked about. Look where Tyler Pollack is now at fullback. Pinching in. It's almost that inverted winger and getting involved in that midfield.
Booth quick turn. McLean fires. Saved easily by Sanchez. A wide open Don Smart left looking. Left side of the box.
Yeah, bringing that fullback into the middle just makes those midfielders have to think about exactly who to worry about. And then they left Don Smart wide open on the left. Luckily for North Texas, McLean didn't see him.
And North Texas used Derek Waldeck in a very similar fashion last week in possession, starting at left back, but working his way into the midfield in possession. Today, he is, along with Almaguer, more of those pivots in the overall formation, with their lack of depth at center back, unfortunately. Avayevu dribbling ahead, passes it off, and Jekyll will be called offside, the player of the week in USL League One.
Yeah, quite a debut for Jekyll. He's 24, out of Campbell University. I was going to say just down the road from Greenville, but it's not quite in the same state, obviously. And we talked to John Harks if he knew who Jekyll was, and he said, yeah, he'd been keeping an eye on him. Obviously, when he got drafted, he knew there was no chance at that point, perhaps, of Greenville signing him. So John Harks knows all about what the Frenchman brings.
Yeah, Eric Quill put it plainly to us. He said it's someone that he really wanted when they were sitting in the war room for the MLS Super Draft, taken in the third round, as Ross said, out of Campbell. Scored 7 goals as well for Lionsbridge over in USL League 2. Out of play. Greenville will keep it here in minute 20.
With the amount of talent Eric Quill sees on a daily and weekly basis, he was very impressed with Jekyll. He had great things to say about him. Great brain inside the box, killer with both feet, unbelievable in the final third. So nice pickup for North Texas. Obviously showed it last week. No nerves there with those 2 goals. Very well taken.
And the FC Dallas organization, tons of talent. That MLS pipeline always coming in. Their academy pipeline always coming in. Eric Quill has a lot to work with. But still, they're losing a lot from last year to this year. Arturo Rodriguez, he's off now with Phoenix Rising. Renato Damas, he's with Orange County. Even Breck Evans, who was their leader of their backline for 2 years, really, he's now with Memphis in USL Championship. So it's kind of like this is the first year of the reset for Eric Quill on the side. We're going to learn a lot of these faces, and maybe Jekyll, to his credit, can pop up and be that next offensive force that we're going to learn. Ricardo Pepe had a hat trick in his League One debut, the first match ever for North Texas SC, and a brace for Jekyll. Maybe coming down the road, something else for him.
Yet one leaves, they just seem to find someone else just as good to replace him. Again, it took a little while, as you mentioned, Chris, for them to get going last season, but won 5 of their final 6 games. Obviously off to a great start this season.
Greenville back in possession. Max Hemmings took it in initially. Ball right back to him. Here comes Don Smart, but he is offsides.
It was a late goal. It looked like a lovely diagonal run from Smart. Not too many complaints from the Greenville Triumph fan sitting behind the assistant referee, though.
Ball lofted over to the right side. They go out of play. Like to, of course, welcome in everyone tuning in on CW62. Greenville Triumph partnering with the local broadcast partner to show quite a few games here in 2021 and the early part of the season. The later part of the season schedule will be released later. Another avenue for you to watch the Greenville Triumph this season in the upstate of South Carolina. Ball pops out for North Texas. Alex Bruce gives it off and knocked away by Don Smart. Mohammed trying to lead the charge the other way. Here comes Andrew Booth. And this will be cleared out into the crowd. Well, out of the stadium. Nice tackle in there, but the Triumph still get it back. Max Hemmings slowly coming to his feet. Smart service in, back post, headed down and just wide of the target. McLean almost finding his first tally.
Now, lovely ball in by Don Smart. Referee's going to have a word with somebody. It's like Al McGarrett. Here's the replay. I think it was for the foul just before that. Smart with a lovely right-footed ball curled in. Defense did probably just enough there to put Max Hemmings off and resulted in him just going wide with the header.
Of course, all replays today presented by Green Cloud Defense. Very up and down the field to start off. A little bit slowing down now, more of the tactical battle we're used to between these clubs.
You definitely see Greenville going with more of the two men up top this season with Lomas, and here is that man.
Lomas driving into the box, but Sanchez off his line. He'll take it in.
It was McLean or Keegan most of the time on their own up top last year. But now with the addition of Lomas, who showed at the USL Championship level he can score. John Harkes wanted to get both of them on the field at the same time, and it's resulted in more of a 4-4-2 formation now than the 4-2-3-1 they used most of last year.
And Greenville's taking advantage of this North Texas situation right now. It seems like they're trying to work through the pivot today, at least, of Derek Waldeck. And with those two strikers up top and Lomas and McLean swarming him, not really getting very far.
Not so far.
Nice touch there by Walker. They'll find Mohammed dashing down the right flank. Sanchez once again off his line. He'll grab it out of the air.
Sanchez returning to where he started his pro career with FC Dallas. He's well played youth there and spent most of 2018 starting for the Chicago Fire, so didn't see too many goalkeepers with that much MLS experience starting in USL League One. He sat on the bench last week, but an interesting battle to watch at the goalkeeper position all year between him and Shuttler.
A homegrown signing for FC Dallas all the way back in 2011. He won the U17 World Cup as well as a youth player. Very experienced keeper to bring in for this young squad. Here's Smart. former Flamingo over in Madison. And it will go back to North Texas. Colin Smith, you may remember as a dashing winger last season. Eric Will telling us that the organization kind of feels he has a great opportunity to fill in a right back spot as he keeps his dreams of Major League Soccer in view, or even beyond that, of course. Something similar we saw with, of course, Sammy Gadiri as he played with Fort Lauderdale last year, now seeing some appearances with Inter Miami CF. And Coach Quill was frank with us, said there are going to be some growing pains, but being out there, getting time on the field, that's how he's going to learn to play that spot.
And we see FC Dallas playing with that wing-back system, that 3 at the back, 5 at the back hybrid system, and that's obviously where they perhaps see Smith's future as one of those wing-backs if he does get to the top level.
1 goal, 1 assist in his 15 appearances last year. Look at Kazu, the Brazilian. Rayo goes down in a heap with 2 Triumph players, and it's finally cleared.
No, it's a solid tackle there by Abdi Mohammed. He stayed on his feet wisely, managed to get the lunge in, but here comes North Texas now.
Service, well, too deep to the left flank. Kazu's there to take it in. Does go out of play, back to the Triumph. 1-0 on the Lomas tally early on in the 7th minute. The assist did officially go to Brandon Fricke. Greenville off to a solid start. That's their first offensive goal of the season. Got the benefit of an own goal last week after going down a man. Rayo trying to keep this in play. Can't get the right touch, and it's out. The USL on ESPN continues Thursday, May 6th on ESPN Deportes with an early season cross-divisional showdown. For the first time ever, Rio Grande Valley FC welcomes Landon Donovan's San Diego Loyal SC as the USL Championship season hits full stride. RGV and San Diego from the Valley, May 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes.
Well, Tormentor have taken a 2-0 lead, Chris, after that rough start to the season. Looking nice at home against Tucson. Curtis Thorne with the goal for Tormentor, former Nova Southeastern star in Division 2. Careful. Whoa.
Yeah, it looks like that was a pass back, in fact, not a shot.
Yeah, it was one of those ones that was a questionable one. Did he mean to do it? Referee could have certainly given it either way, so Sanchez had to be careful.
Yevu, excuse me, in there. Shot comes, but just wide. As Bruce put it wide of Jay, the target. But once again, I have Yevu setting up his teammate very well there with his service. He talked about it before.
That should be 1-1, Chris. That was a lovely ball by
yeah.
Avayevu. Jay Bruce, I told you I was going to do it. Alex Bruce. Center forward of his quality should have put that one away. That was a better chance than I think it looked at first. A lovely ball through.
One 1-0 Greenville as we hit minute 31. Again, I'm Chris Pekovic alongside me, Ross Davenport. As we have soccer back here in Greenville, South Carolina. First of 14 home matches for Greenville here in the 2021 season. Lomas getting his account going in minute 7. With the help of Fricke heading the ball over to him and a nice cheeky back heel flick for him into the net. Avayevu Goes down against Lee. Nothing doing there. It's a goal kick for Jay.
No, he's always looking to go down there. But North Texas looked a little more dangerous here in the last 5 minutes. Eric Quill talked about wanting to get behind that Greenville defense, and they've done it a couple of times here and looked a lot more dangerous.
Evan Lee, 44 appearances in his first 2 years in League One with Greenville. 42 of those starts. Great campaign last year once again. 38 clearances, second on the team. 10 blocks, also second on the team. It's become quite the tandem with Fricky in there. The addition from Lansing Ignite, who he was with in 2019.
You can see Eric Quill getting upset at the time wasting. It's a little early for that. It was just a bit of a false start, we'll call it.
Jaquel. Advantage was played there. Ryo now trying to find some help. Jaquel almost found an opening there, and Smart cleared it away.
And this is what you don't want to see as a Greenville fan. North Texas offensive players just flooding into that final third, as they love to do. The technical ability, you give them half a yard, they're going to strike it home.
Ball went out, back to Greenville it goes. It seems like as we move deeper into this match, North Texas settling in a bit more, trying to build their offense forward. Back with Greenville for the throw-in on the near side. Muhammad, open space, getting a cheer from the fans. Now Smart and edge of the box. Booth puts it on frame. They'll take another in the first half. 2-0 to the Triumph. It's Andrew Booth.
John Harks told us last week it was up to Andrew Booth to really cement his spot in this lineup. He came off the bench mostly last year. What a finish. Just let the ball come across it and put it into just inside the far post. Another lovely ball by Abdi Mohammed. That's a class finish with the left foot there from Booth.
That's just great awareness, too, from Don Smart. Instead of putting that deep cross in, seeing his teammate wide open in the middle. And it's Andrew Booth opening his account here in 2021. He brings you that goal along with YMCA of Greenville. Dream start for the Triumph at home. 2-0 over North Texas.
Well, that's 2 goals in his last 3 games now for Andrew Booth, because he scored in the finale last year.
True.
Another very versatile player. And perhaps trying to keep Alex Morrell on the bench. No, Alex Morrell isn't even on the bench today with the injury, but Andrew Booth perhaps a potential spot at 10. You know, John Harks now has lots of options with Lomas, Booth, once Morrell is healthy. Whether they stick with this 4-4-2 or go, bring that 10 back, obviously, with the loss of Carlos Gomez and Keegan, both of who saw time at 10 last year. And then with the addition of Lomas, Harks decided to change things up. But if Booth can continue this kind of play, it's going to be hard for John Harks to keep him out of the lineup.
And you look at the players that John Harks has been able to recruit that are versatile. You have Booth now. Hemmings, of course, we've been talking about quite a bit. But also Cole Seiler, as Hemmings right there, as if on cue gets a yellow card. Cole Seiler in 2019, he was kind of the versatile player of League One. His ability to play wing back, center back if needed, defensive mid, before retiring, of course, ahead of last season. As Hemmings looking for an explanation at least.
It looks like Referee Dimianchuk was suggesting perhaps some head-neck contact. A 2-0 lead at home for Greenville in their home opener in here in 2021. No matter how much talent you've got. But again, North Texas found themselves down twice last week, obviously only by 1 goal each time. Some work to do here for the men in white.
Here's the thing that people forget, though. We're all focused on the Greenville defense, of course. They were second in the league last year in goals per game. They had 1.5 per game, which, of course, means the league overall was more defensive-minded. It wasn't scoring, of course, wasn't as high, but nonetheless, they were still getting goals in. That was a big improvement from 2019. You had a guy like Lomas who has put goals in for NCFC, USL Championship recent years. Definitely going to help things out, along with a player like Andrew Booth. Now, Smart trying to run down the field.
And we saw glimpses of it last season, and it continued into the preseason. We didn't get to see any of the preseason games, but from all reports, Greenville looked a lot better going forward. Obviously, we can't really count much about last week because they spent half the game with a man down, but that first 30 minutes of that game against Richmond, they looked very effective going forward. Definitely still the team to beat in USL League One.
John Harks told us, considering the weather conditions and everything that entailed, along with being down a man, he was very proud with the performance. Of course, things to work on and tweak within that, but first 40 minutes, they really controlled, at least on the offensive end, for themselves.
No, when you bring back 14 players and you add guys like this man right here on the ball, Don Smart, veteran presence that this team perhaps needed, especially on that front line. Loomis isn't young at 26, but he's not the age of Don Smart, and with the experience and obviously a different position. Careful.
Yeah, this offseason was kind of a trade of key players. Keegan, Carlos Gomez headed over to Madison with new head coach Carl Craig, and Don Smart now sporting the green and blue of the Triumph. Down the right flank, heavy touch on the chest of Muhammad. Now Waldeck.
We saw Waldeck sitting in that space between the front two and the midfield for Greenville. With Walker and Hemmings, I mean, they're not really, obviously, neither of them are 10s, perhaps more 6s than even 8s, so there's going to be that gap between those two forwards and that midfield line, because Walker and Hemmings are going to be sitting deep, as you saw Polak and Abdi Mohammed filling in the middle a little bit. There's going to be that gap. That's where North Texas have to take advantage. That's perhaps why Waldeck is there. He hasn't taken advantage of it yet tonight. Here he is, though, on the ball.
And keep in mind, 3 of the 4 goals for North Texas came late in the second half against Fort Lauderdale. So they could be a team. Talk it over with Eric Quill in the locker room and go from there. Jaquel to the right side. Avayevu strikes a curler just wide. A beautiful bend to that, but off the mark.
Yeah, North Texas is finding some space in that right side seam. Good footwork again from Avayevu. Another one that should really have been put on frame.
Jay sends us off into the setting sun. Really beautiful day for soccer here, mid-70s in Greenville.
This new Hummel kit looks sharp, Chris. A little less white. That's going to be another yellow card. This one on Booth, the goal scorer. Always like the Hummel chevrons.
Triumph fans, make sure to check out the new Triumph Hummel jerseys online at shopgreenvilletriumph.com or stop by our retail store in downtown Greenville at 22 South Main Street. And during that match against Union Omaha or ahead of it, you might find Ross buying one there.
As long as it's not in the last 10 minutes of the first half, Chris.
No, but let's be honest. The Triumph fans, they want you to do that because then they score a goal.
This is true. Yeah, my one trip to Forward Madison went to the souvenir store and JJ Donnelly ended up. No, it was Chris Bermudez, sorry. Ended up scoring a gem. Probably one of the best goals of the season while I was gone.
That's the time capsule. Chris Bermudez.
Yeah, it's a shame, Chris Bermudez. I thought obviously had a nice little first season with Greenville. Went up to the USL Championship. Didn't get much of a chance there, but I don't think he's latched on anywhere that I've seen.
The Real Monarchs SLC went after quite a few USL League One players after that 2019 campaign. Joe Gallardo now in Liga MX getting plenty of playing time. Credit to him. Of course, of the Richmond Kickers previously.
Here's someone we haven't mentioned much today yet, Chris. Jaquel. He can completely neutralize. He hasn't got the service, obviously. Still plenty of time for him to get on the score sheet, though.
Yeah, he's floating around the top of the box. You see him right there in the 22 kit. And it seems like Lee and Fricky are all over him as soon as he finds any opening.
He's obviously diverting attention, though, as we mentioned earlier. North Texas finding that space on the right side. Perhaps when Jaquel's making that run the other way. Got a bit of a stoppage in play here for an extra ball on the field.
JJ Donnelly and Jaquel did overlap one year, 2018. Jaquel didn't see the field that year for Campbell. Nonetheless, you have to assume that the coaching staff's going to ask players about their former teammates if there's anything they can offer. Avayevu all over the field so far. Walker, some open room as Bruce tracks back. See if Booth can bring this down. Indeed he does here in minute 44. McLean open, top of the box, covered quickly by Alisson. Now Mohammed, back to Booth. Cleared by Bruce.
Uh-oh.
Oh, nice touch there to get around Fricky Lee, the last man standing. Jaquel got a shot off, but covered well by Evan Lee as he stayed back there. Eric Quill, the long throw, trying to keep the attack alive. Rayo, Almaguer thinking about it. He'll pass it off. Avayevu. He'll loft it over, but headed away by Mohammed. Just enough on it.
I think we're seeing some tired Greenville legs out there. Don Smart sort of sitting 25 yards out, and North Texas had a quick 2-on-1. Didn't quite take advantage of it, but a lot of running, some pressing in this first half. But with that 2-0 lead, yeah, match fitness. I know they played some preseason games, but I'm sure very few players went 90 minutes during those games as they were trying to get a look at everybody. So that 90-minute fitness, this is the time, the end of the first half, where you're just waiting for that break to give those lungs a rest.
Kazu puts it in. Polak goes down, and a foul is called. Avayevu.
That was great positioning from Tyler Polak there, just on the goal side. Avayevu had to go through him to get to the ball, and that's exactly what happened. Let's take another look at the replay here. It was a nice ball in by Kazu with the left foot. Just perfect positioning from Polak.
Just the 1 minute of stoppage time here from Greenville. Pretty quiet first half for Dallas J, to say the least.
Yeah, he saw a couple of fizz past his post that he was grateful for, though. North Texas had those two. I want to say they were quality chances. This game could be very different if one of those two had gone in.
It's 1 minute of First Horizon stoppage time. And that's all for the first half. A dream start here at home for Greenville. 2 goals just like that, headed into the break.
No, good stuff. Lomas with his first regular season goal for Greenville. Booth with his second goal in 3 games. And yeah, this is a tough team. You don't want to be 2-0 down to at halftime.
As we head into our Oxford Barber Company halftime report, Booth and Lomas the goal scorers. Greenville trying to stay on top as we head towards the second half. North Texas, Eric Quill, we'll see what they come out with from the locker room. An exciting first half, plenty of action back and forth, but it does go the way of the triumph so far. We'll be right back with you in a short moment with the Oxford Barber Company halftime report.
The unstoppable spirit lives inside all of us. For Matt and Lisa Kuhn, it's fueled by family, with a business backed by an unbreakable bond and a passion to innovate. They've become leaders in last-mile transportation. That's why First Horizon is proud to celebrate unstoppable spirits like Matt and Lisa. From the first stop to the final destination, we use our understanding to keep our clients on their unique path to success.
From boardroom to the showroom, storefront to doorfront, lobby sign to freeway sign. Designing, developing, installing, and elevating your brand. The trusted name is Wrap and Roll Graphics. Providers of fleet graphics, wall murals, and architectural enhancements. Now is the time to drive attention and strengthen your brand. It's time to Wrap and Roll.
Welcome back here into Greenville, South Carolina for our Oxford Barber Company halftime report in our battle between Greenville and North Texas. And Ross, beginning of the season means a lot of new kits out there across USL League. Let's take a look at a few of them, starting with forward Madison.
This one's a beauty, designed by the fans, bringing the collars back, Chris. We talked before this about some of these teams bringing the collars back. The collar does make the kit sometimes. I really like this pink collar on this one.
Yeah, striking once again with Dairyland, the sponsor, in the middle, and you see these all over the place. And, of course, coming up, they will have their home opener back at Breese Stevens Field, where we will see those come out into fruition. Triumph in front of us today. Got to see the debut of the white kit recently, and, of course, the green kit coming up in front of us so far today.
Oh, big half Scottish. I love the tartan, Chris, and I also love this home kit. It brings me back memories of sort of 80s rec soccer with the checkerboard shirts and shorts.
You gotta love this photo shoot too for the Greenville Triumph. A lot of fun there for the men in green or white, depending on where they're having their match for the particular game.
I think we may see a third kit from them soon as well, Chris.
North Texas SC sharpening things up a bit as they entered the 2021 season for the 2019 champions, of course. The all red and then some stripes in there.
I do like the pinstripes. I also like the big white collar. Some people like this, the rounded collar, but I like the mix between the home and the away with the colors on these ones.
The United Way sponsor this year, along with MTX across the chest. Looking sharp in there in Globe Life Park this season. Back their home field next week against the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Union Omaha, a bit sharp in their kits this season. Their second year of competition, USL League One, showing some yellow for us this season.
It's an interesting look, something we normally only see on keepers. This kit in the black and white here. One side they're going to look just like a plain black kit, and the other side It's going to look a little crazy, but I like it.
I like that black kit with the white stripes. Looked really good under the lights last week for their victory over Tormenta to start the season. Richmond Kickers, of course, the rainbow cookies featuring in this white kit that we saw come out against New England Revolution 2 to open the season. They also, of course, have their signature red look for their home matches.
Yeah, it's not quite white and it's not quite gray, and I like it. I haven't tried these cookies yet, Chris, but every time I see that sponsor logo, I want to try some.
U-Crop's making their money, that's for sure, with their sponsorship, making everyone hungry when Richmond takes the field with that kit. And I'll look at the goalkeeper kit as well. And not just a red kit, some nice touches in there as well. And speaking of Richmond, unfortunate news, of course, David Bulow, their former head coach from their first season in USL League One, suffered a stroke recently and had to be placed under a medically induced coma. You can head over to the Richmond Kickers social media channels where they posted a GoFundMe link that has already garnered upwards of $50,000 to cover those medical expenses and help out his family during this difficult time. Wonderful coach to get to know and talk to in our first year as a broadcast team covering USL League One. I remember in our first conversation, I called him a Richmond legend. He made a joke that, hey, my mother would really love you. And I mean, Richmond Kickers fans surely agree with me on that statement for his days as a player and a coach. We'll be right back.
I wasn't going to let anything get in my way of achieving my goals, which were to be a professional soccer player. So the first opportunity I got at preseason, when a teammate asked like if I was dating a girl or something, I just came out to a bunch of my teammates at dinner and said, no, I'm gay. All I needed to do was that one time, because then I didn't lie. Your sexuality should never limit you from playing the sport you love.
San Diego takes the lead.
When you donate blood with the Blood Connection, you're helping to save lives right here in your community. Donate blood with the Blood Connection, your community blood center.
Welcome back into the Oxford Barber Company halftime report. News and notes from around USL League One, and of course ESPN expanding their blueprint along with the USL Championship and USL League One.
No, with all the international players coming into League One, especially from South America, it's going to be great that more people down there can watch the games.
Of course, that big nationally televised match coming up on Sunday, May 16th. Triumph will see NCFC next week, but then, of course, that big meeting with Omaha, what would have been the League One final last year. We've mentioned it a few times. Jacal, the player of the week, and here is your team of the week overall. Hemmings at center back, making it there, along with Pilato and Polak from the Greenville Triumph. Power rankings early on, and a lot of these teams, of course, about half of them not playing yet. Tucson, their first match right now against Tormenta. Greenville at the top.
Yeah, a bit of a guessing game, but no doubt with that team at the top of the Union Omaha on that 16th, we'll be looking on national television to knock them off that perch.
Yeah, Omaha looked really good against Tormenta last week, a 2-0 win, as you can see at North Texas, that big 4-spot over Fort Lauderdale. Greenville, the 1-0 victory, and then right now, you've been mentioning it, Ross, Tucson fighting back 2-1 right now, Tormenta at the half.
Yeah, Shaq Adams with the goal for Tucson there to get it back to a 1-goal deficit.
Okay, what piques your interest as we look ahead?
I think the North Carolina FC Greenville Triumph one is going to be interesting. A battle of the Carolinas. We're not sure exactly how NCFC is going to look, but Greenville hopefully can put this one together and go into that one still undefeated.
A homecoming for Lomas as well as we move ahead into our Oxford Barber Company halftime report. First half highlights and stats coming up next.
From boardroom to the showroom, storefront to doorfront, lobby sign to freeway sign. Designing, developing, installing, and elevating your brand. The trusted name is Wrap and Roll Graphics, providers of fleet graphics, wall murals, and architectural enhancements. Now is the time to drive attention and strengthen your brand. It's time to Wrap and Roll.
The unstoppable spirit lives inside all of us. For Matt and Lisa Kuhn, it's fueled by family, with a business backed by an unbreakable bond and a passion to innovate. They've become leaders in last-mile transportation. That's why First Horizon is proud to celebrate unstoppable spirits like Matt and Lisa. From the first stop to the final destination, we use our understanding to keep our clients on their unique path to success.
When you donate blood with the Blood Connection, you're helping to save lives right here in your community. Donate blood with the Blood Connection, your community blood center.
Into Greenville, South Carolina, as we finish off our Oxford Barber Company halftime report. 2-0 to the Triumph here at Legacy Early College. Well, let's get set to check out our first half highlights here from Legacy Early College, presented by Palmetto State Home Mortgage. And it was all Greenville early on.
Yeah, the first goal came by one of those set pieces that Eric Quill was worried about. Brandon Fricky with far too much space at the back post, nods it back across and finished off by Marius Lomas. But North Texas did have a couple of chances. This was one of them.
Rayo moving centrally to the left side, and then a Canning, Kazu forcing the save out of Jay. And back the other way came the Triumph. Plenty of pressure for them in that first half. They were really dictating things. Poked free, Booth the cross in, and then Lomas hitting the back of his head instead. And the key for many of these chances was Muhammad on the right flank, Booth finding his openings in the middle. McLean once more.
Yeah, the header from Lomas, he almost looked like he just overran it and couldn't get the front of his head on it.
North Texas did find some chances through Avayevu. Beautiful layoff for Bruce, but put it just wide. Great opportunity.
Yeah, perhaps instead of powering that one, he could have perhaps just placed it inside the far post. Dallas J had come out and had committed.
And here's the second. Nice finish in there over the top of the keeper by Booth. Smart putting it on a platter.
Here's that second quality chance I talked about for North Texas. They left. Greenville have been exposed a little bit on this side. Avayevu giving Taylor Polak all sorts of trouble. And let's take a look at our halftime stats.
Greenville on top 2-0. Even on the chances category, North Texas, of course, is the one shot on target, but they've had their opportunities when they can get them on that right flank.
Yeah, North Texas expected to win the possession battle 59%, but only 22.6% of the time they've spent in that Greenville final third. Meanwhile, Greenville has spent 38% of that first half inside North Texas's final third.
So Greenville couldn't find a goal of their own, at least last week. They got the own goal from Richmond, but they find two just in the first half here today. North Texas, they were down 2 times in the match against Fort Lauderdale. See if they can fight back in this one. They found 3 goals against Aaron Powell's side last week. Juan Parra seems to be coming in to make his North Texas debut. Of course, the 6'3" center back out of Columbia at 19 years old. He'll actually turn 20 coming up on Thursday. North Texas also bringing in Bernard Kamungo, the other player to make the team from open tryouts, along with Mikey Maldonado, Same lineup for Greenville, at least. Something they will welcome after last week when they had to change things up at a locker room due to a man down.
Yeah, we'll see if that Parra switches just a straight switch, or perhaps Maldonado or Allison push up. Neither Waldeck or Almaguer came out. We'll find out in a second here.
Mungo in his League One debut last week just got a goal. Pretty solid debut in 19 minutes, if you ask me. And we're back underway here from Greenville, South Carolina. 2-0 to the home side. Once again, I'm Chris Pekovic alongside me, Ross Davenport. Home opener for the Greenville Triumph here in 2021. Both these teams getting 3 points last weekend in their season opener.
It looks like Imanol Almaguer may have made way for Parra, with Allison moving up into that central midfield spot and Parra replacing him at center back.
Maldonado and Alisson both 6s more, as Eric Quill put it, filling in at the center back role. Parra is a true center back, and a lot of height with that. Of course, all substitutions presented by Spinks. It's Parra in for Smith.
Interesting. Oh no, I see Almaguer still in there now.
That's the thing with these Spinks substitutions. Remember, Waldeck was in the central midfield. He could be at wingback now. Could help things out. We'll see how they develop. Foul called.
Your attention, substitution at halftime for North Texas. Leaving the match, number 28, Alex Bruce.
Kamungo filling in on that right wing slot in the midfield.
Leaving the match, number 32, Colin Smith.
Smart the layoff. Evan Lee all the way up with the attack.
It looks like Almaguer went to right back to replace Smith.
We've seen him there before, especially in 2019 with the title-winning side.
Yeah, one of the few, I'll say the only 2 remaining players from the 2019 North Texas squad.
Ball stayed in play. Greenville on the attack, but stopped in its tracks. And North Texas does get a lot of movement within their organization, of course, up and down, but the 2 true remaining players on their roster, Rayo and Almaguer. Of course, David Rodriguez out on loan in Liga MX right now. He technically counts as a third, but not currently on the roster. Hemmings. Good give off there, McLean, but back over to Alisson.
Yeah, it was a good ball into McLean. He just got sort of stuck between his feet.
Now, Nicky Hernandez is kind of the missing piece from that lineup in the victory over Fort Lauderdale. He couldn't make the trip due to obligations with FC Dallas. So Alisson now filling that slot in the midfield. We'll see if that can get this offense going with distribution out of the back. Parra. Off of Pollock. And Jay will recycle this downfield.
Good left-footed clearance there by Dallas Jay. Having a two-footed keeper is clearly an advantage these days. You've got to have it if you're going to be able to play the ball out the back.
Ball won by Maldonado, native of San Antonio at 22 years old.
Player down, perhaps.
McLean checking his foot out as he got up.
Greenville have had their fair share of foot injuries over the first 2 seasons, Cruz. Now this looks like a hand injury, maybe.
He took a tumble on that one on the interception by Maldonado. Let's take another look on the Green Cloud defense replay.
It seems maybe just got clipped on the shin.
McLean, all-league second team last year. Led the team with 7 goals in his 16 appearances.
Perhaps a bit of cramp from McLean. Everybody just trying to get that match fitness in as we start this season.
Michelle getting some words in with Camungo. The assistant coach of North Texas, one League One appearance to his name in 2019.
Lovely goal last week by Camungo.
Well, that's for sure. North Texas, Eric Quill, they found some real talent in those open tryouts they had.
It was a lovely step over that just completely flummoxed the defender, and then a strong left-footed finish inside the far post.
Native of Tanzania, moved to Abilene, Texas at 14 years old. He was an all-district player in the Fort Worth area high school department in 2020 and caught their eye at the tryout. It's been all North Texas out of the locker room. We'll see if Greenville can build some chemistry at the back to get some momentum going. Now, across from deep, and Muhammad heads that out of play. This will be a corner kick for North Texas SC.
First one of their game for them, right in front of the Reedy River Riot.
Right in front of the Wicked Weed Brew Garden. You can get your Riot Blonde Ale out of Brewery 85.
See Andrew Booth coming over to make sure they don't try and take this one short, or at least give some attention to it.
First corner of the match for North Texas. Ball lofted in, headed up on the spin and into the Reedy River Riot.
Yeah, Kazu just seemed to lose his balance a little bit. Take a look at the replay here. It was a decent ball in. Yeah, it was well defended by Max Hemmings, and Kazu not in the greatest position to put a header on goal. He sort of had his back to goal. Greenville trying to play it out now.
Now Hemmings down. You know, something John Harks praised as well about Hemmings' performance is that really his first match back after his ACL injury, back at the stadium where it occurred, City Stadium, for himself halfway through a match back in 2019. Able to put in a great performance at center back, a new position for him.
All injuries, especially ACL ones, are a lot of it's the mental side of the game, getting that confidence back to be able to cut off that knee, etc.
Muhammad service in and cleared out of play by Maldonado. This will bring a PNC corner kick.
Don Smart will take his time coming over for this one. No hurry with his team up 2-0. We'll call it selective time wasting, Chris. It all adds up in the end. It doesn't really matter when you do it. All the seconds are the same. Of course, most referees won't worry about it until the final 5 minutes.
Don Smart looking to get on the end of this one. Has an assist already tonight on the Booth tally. Can he find another? Ball sent in, back post, headed up by Lomas. And Sanchez will bring that down.
Yeah, we asked John Hawks about his propensity for the back post headers. He didn't really have a reason for it. Just something that he thinks he can exploit against certain teams.
Back all the way to Dallas J. Out wide, here's Andrew Booth. Smart. Bit of hold up there for the winger. Now Muhammad. Tried to volley this one in.
That's a difficult skill to achieve, the old volley cross. Tried it though. Give him credit.
So at the moment in points per game, it's Greenville, Omaha, and North Texas all with 1-0 records. Lomas, try to bring it down on the volley. He'll take it back. McLean there fires, but wide into the side netting, and Sanchez has some words for his defense after that.
Yeah, half a chance for McLean. He perhaps snatched it a little too quickly. You mentioned the standings, Chris. Go ahead. Oh, there's a goal. Yep. Mentioned the standings. Points per game is what we're going to have to be looking at, I think, for quite a while until some of these teams catch up. There's going to be some calculators out there.
Foul called. Will there be a card along with it?
Yeah, there's been a few clumsy fouls against Avayevu. Just a warning here, though, for the youngster. Might perhaps have a substitution here. Speaking of youngsters.
Yeah, it might be the youngster Corcoran. Indeed it is, coming in for Kazu. Just 15 years old, turned 15 mid-February. He's a phenom in the waiting, though. FC Dallas very excited about his prospects down the road. Another Spink substitution as he comes on. More, again, as that holding midfielder approach, 6 or an 8 in there. Eric Quill told us he was thinking about potentially starting him here today, but he comes off the bench once again, like the match against Fort Lauderdale.
See, perhaps Waldeck go to left back, I assume. Yep, he's there now.
McLean, Lomas, Parra comes in, pokes it! It's in off the right post! Make it 3 for the Triumph, back at home here in 2021.
North Texas should take a look at that finish by Lomas. He just poked it into the far corner. Didn't need to slam it home. Just picked his spot and passed it in there with the outside of his foot. Lovely finish by the man from the Netherlands.
A brace for him in his first home match with the Triumph. Let's take a look at the Green Cloud defense replay.
It was an unfortunate giveaway from Rio. Nice pass by McLean, and then a calm outside of the foot finish inside the far post. Lovely from the big man.
McLean's going to get the assist on that too. Great pass finding Lomas on that left side. Parra just couldn't get there in time.
Hey Chris, you and I talked about this combination of would they be able to work together, McLean and Lomas, and it's worked wonderfully so far. We should never question John Hawks. He's a man that came onto their doorstep. Last playing with NCFC in his second trip there, and he was available. And what a pickup it's looking like so far. He had a couple of goals in the end of the preseason, and now 2 more here today.
That goal presented by Lomas and YMCA of Greenville, of course. The USL is committed to supporting the LGBTQ+ community Through the Forever Proud project, the USL will strive to create safe and welcoming environments for all fans, players, employees, and partners. Learn more at uslsoccer.com/forwardforever-proud. Reedy River Riot in for a treat so far tonight. 3 goals for the Triumph. A brace for Lomas. Couldn't ask for more, but we're only in the 59th. Let's see if they can close it out as North Texas still. Reminder, they scored 3 goals against Fort Lauderdale in the second half. You can never count them out if they can get things going with their momentum. Zalison.
Well, we all remember that 4-0 game from a couple of years ago, which obviously the North Texas fans were, not too were upset about because they were down to 10 men. They were claiming, you had the extra man. It wasn't that big of a deal, but Greenville 1 goal away from matching that score here against 11 men. Don Smart's very upset about something. You could hear him from the sideline microphone, and he was all the way in the middle of the field.
Yeah, it was an earlier foul in the midfield. He was letting Demianchuk hear it a bit. And now a word in the pause in the action, try to calm things down. Here's Para. North Texas, it seems like they're having great build-up up until they get to the final third, but they get there and either Hemmings cuts off a lane or Fricky or Lee do the same. Just haven't been able to find that right pass through the lane into the box.
As Eric Quill said, John Harkes has built a machine here, a defensive machine. Everybody's role is very defined. Everybody's got good spatial awareness. Simple, methodical system that works well at this level.
And Walker took a tumble, to say the least, after getting knocked down on that battle. He's back to his feet.
You see Evan Lee with these low socks, Chris. I don't remember him being that low last year. He almost looks like the old middle school soccer player. Everybody else got their socks pulled up. But good to see Evan Lee back in the starting lineup. Him and Brandon Fricky. Great partnership back there.
Look at Eric Quill, one of the few coaches in League One history to have some success against John Harkes, to say the least. It's been a great battle between these two overall. Booth, ball in, headed away. Kamungo fighting through traffic. Here comes Kamungo.
You talked to Eric Quill about being married to a soccer coach. His wife's also a soccer coach. I wanted to know if they talk tactics ever at home. He said no, they leave the ball out of the house. Things are getting a little chippy here.
A caution issued by the referee for North Texas, number 15, Mikey Maldonado.
Demianchuk coming to the Greenville bench now.
Having a word with one of the assistants.
Maldonado did receive a yellow, came back on this. Pretty late contact there.
That's a textbook yellow. Frustration, I think, building in that foul. Just contact from behind and the shoulder.
Parra, nice tackle there to keep the ball in play, but no, they're going to say it went over, and it's a corner kick for the Triumph. Another PNC corner kick for you.
Corners for kids, taken by your Greenville Triumph.
See Brandon Fricky coming up to take his position at the far post. He's going to go center. Evan Lee, perhaps. Going to go to that deep position. See if Don Smart goes deep or puts this one into the... Look, before we can do that, we're going to have another stoppage. There's some nonsense going on in the 6-yard box between.
It's like Hemmings. Yeah, Fricky was able to get a goal on a corner kick against Richmond last year. Smart service in. Alisson at the near post gets rid of it.
Yeah, that was too easy for Allison. Not the best delivery from Smart. Always got to beat that first man.
Smart.
Well, Texas a little bit all over the place right now here.
Booth floats it in, but there's Sanchez.
You see Marius Lomas asking for the ball on the ground. There's only one player in the box in the shape of McLean.
The USL on ESPN continues Thursday, May 6th on ESPN Deportes with an early season cross-divisional showdown. For the first time ever, Rio Grande Valley FC welcomes Landon Donovan San Diego Loyal SC as the USL Championship season hits full stride. RGV and San Diego from the Valley, May 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes. Viniegra coming on, another new face for North Texas SC. Came on very late in the match against Fort Lauderdale. Now making the Spinks substitution now in the 65th minute. Free kick for the Triumph. Lee will come up and take it.
I think in North Texas's favor, they do have 4 of the next 5 at home, including 2 games. One on the road, one at home against Toronto. 2 will just be getting their season underway back here in Greenville in 6 weeks or so.
Greenville, not an extremely tough stretch considering they're just going up the road to North Carolina for their road match next week.
Yeah, there's a bit of an unknown in that match, though. You don't know much about them. Well, obviously, I think that's their first match of the season, right, Chris? For NCFC?
Yep. Not too far of a journey, I mean.
No, for sure. They just won't have any tape on them. And obviously the big match against Omaha, and then at Tormented, then a couple of weeks off for Greenville. But here can they come now?
Inside, McLean puts it on frame. It's in. Add another to the board. And there's the punch of the corner flag from the Australian. 4-0, 66 minutes in. And it looked like Sanchez and North Texas, they were beside themselves on no offsides flag.
I think they were perhaps looking for a foul. Or for a handball, perhaps on the control. But now Maldonado had his hand up. Greenville taking advantage there of Maldonado, not a true center back. And the true center forward in Lachlan McLean with his first of the season. Greenville on a roll here.
Greenville matching the mark of North Texas from a week ago. That goal presented by McLean and YMCA of Greenville. 9 shots, 6 on target with 4 goals. That's a pretty good night for this offense, and we still have about 25 minutes left.
I think Eric Quill just got a yellow card. No, it's been a very efficient finishing night for Greenville. They've taken their chances very well. North Texas had those 2 clear chances from that right side that weren't finished well, and that's really the difference in this game.
Frustrating night. The yellow card is confirmed for the North Texas bench.
Caution has been issued to the North Texas bench in the 67th minute.
Nice ball through. Kamungo on the run, leads there too, and kicked away just in time by Jay. It is a goal kick.
As you can see, Dallas Jay and Evan Lee going over that miscommunication there. Lee was waiting for Jay to come for it, and he wasn't quite as far out as perhaps he thought he was.
I mean, credit to Kamungo. He made Lee work for that.
No, these young kids are going to run for the whole 90 minutes. Obviously, Kamungo coming on at the half. Not going to give up, even down 4-0.
Score update from Statesboro, Georgia. 2-1 in favor of Tormenta, looking for their first win of the season. Tucson, of course, that's their debut match of this 2021 campaign, once again under John Gallus. Maldonado up ahead to Corcoran.
Tyler Polak is quietly having himself a very good evening. He's making 89% of his passes, and some of them have been devastating ones, cutting this North Texas team apart. There's a nice pass as well.
Kamungo timed that very well. He was on side for that run, but Jay had the final say.
Tyler Polak's also leading Greenville with an 80% completion rate in the opponent's halves. That shows you how far up the field he's been.
Viniegra talking a bit with Walker, now marking up with Lomas. Booth letting it go out, stays with the Triumph. Cross in, blocked away by Maldonado. It's a corner kick for the Triumph presented by PNC Bank.
PNC Corners for Kids taken by your Greenville Triumph.
Smart will come over and take it.
This would be perhaps a perfect game if we can continue to keep this score line, and John Harks to try some of the bench players that haven't seen action yet. Alan Gavalinas.
Walker wide open in the box, pokes it through, and then Waldeck clears it back for another PNC Bank corner kick. Jesus Ibarra waiting to come on. The whistle comes. And it will be him coming on for Andrew Booth. Booth finding the second tally of the night for the Triumph, and the Spinks substitution coming on in Ibarra.
Yeah, Ibarra may be familiar to some of the fans in attendance tonight. Played for Greenville FC.
4 appearances last year for Charleston Battery in the Low Country. Smart whips it in, punched away by Sanchez. Lee came up with a secondary strike. It stays alive on the attack. Hemmings out wide. Here's Smart again. He'll whip the ball in and grabbed by Sanchez.
Yeah, Van Lee must have had his eyes wide open at that chance there, but he didn't quite get it on target, but it found a teammate. So Ibarra will just slot right in on that right midfield spot.
Long ball goes off the mark. On the road, can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, Rodney Marsh, and the brand new USL All Access featuring Mike Watts and Devin Kerr every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Fans of the USL can now listen to the best matches of the week, along with action from MLS, the Premier League, and the UEFA Champions League. Sirius XM FC channel 157 on your Sirius XM radio and the Sirius XM app. Of course, Mike Watts, Devin Kerr, be here with you at Legacy Early College on May 16th for the big match against Union Omaha on ESPN2. Of course, one more match coming for you in this week of USL League One action. Fort Lauderdale hosting Richmond tomorrow night. Catch that on ESPN+. And a slate of matches, of course, in Week 5. Starting off Friday night, Union Omaha back in action against that Fort Lauderdale side. And a battle of the Carolinas, Greenville and North Carolina FC, Saturday night at 7. Richmond trying to get back on track once again against Tormenta. And North Texas back at home against Chattanooga. That's the debut for Jimmy Obleda and the Red Wolves here in 2021.
Yeah, it's one fun thing with this staggered start, Chris, is you get to see a team that hasn't played yet every week, so something to tune into even as casual fans. See what these teams have. That's a poor giveaway there from Mohammed.
League One late night returns as well next week. Tucson, their first home match back at Keno North Stadium, and Madison also, just like Chattanooga, debuting next weekend under Carl Craig. A lot of new faces and a new identity for them in 2021. Ball sent in and cleared away by Para.
John Hark's had some good things to say about Jesus Ibarra. Greenville fans are very upset about something, and now we've got a bit of a brouhaha. Oh,
Walker fell into the boards, it seems like. We did not see exactly what happened, but the Greenville fans were on top of things.
We've got a substitute coming off the bench.
It's Kazu.
Kazu's got to be in some serious trouble for that, I would imagine. There's Tyler Polak pointing that out to referee Demianchuk. Not sure if we'll get a look at what happened on the sideline, but the referee's got some decisions to make. Dallas J all the way in from his goal. You can't have people leaving the bench.
4-0 scoreline, a lot of frustrations in the air. And we'll see, of course, the assistant referee was right there witnessing everything, so we'll see what comes out of this.
Aaron Walker was just shepherding the ball out. Ball was clearly out of play, and oh, that's nasty.
I could see the reaction, but the assistant referee and Demianchuk will talk things over, certainly.
Ryer already has a yellow. No, Sky doesn't have a yellow card. He has yellow boots, is my notes. But that should at least be a yellow card, not a red. I mean, it was just complete reckless dangerous play. See which pocket Demianchuk's going into, and he's going into his right pocket, which only means one thing, and that's a red card. It's probably deservedly so. There was absolutely no need for that from Rayo.
Rayo sent off. Yellow card for Don Smart in the proceedings after the initial infraction.
Well, a 4-0 score and a red card for North Texas. We've been here before, Chris. Not quite as early as the last one, obviously.
And Rayo sent off here in the 76th minute.
Not sure what he has to say. I mean, there was no doubt about it. The ball was clearly in touch, and just an angry swipe at the ball. And we're going to have another red card, perhaps for, you have to think, for Kazu on the bench.
Well, in the Richmond match, Jesus Ibarra actually received a yellow card for time wasting when he was warming up as a sub. So, already seen it so far this season.
Ladies and gentlemen, a red card and match ejection has been issued by the referee to North Texas. Number 14.
You can't come across from the substitutes bench and come to the other side of the field and expect not to get sent off. So, an early shower from Mr. Kazu.
So now North Texas will be without not only Kazu but also DeBron Rayo for their match against Chattanooga coming up next weekend. Two starters here tonight they will be without.
One thing Eric Quill kept mentioning on our call was discipline, right? And that's just a clear case of, now Michelle's spending some words. I mean, there's nothing to be complaining about. The decision was correct on both sides. Both Reds, I should say.
Also, yellow card issued to Greenville's number 10, Don Smart.
Just lost their heads a little bit. Now they're going to be left short-handed for their next match. You see the yellow card confirmed for the veteran Don Smart. Perhaps we'll see the entrance of J.J. Donnelly here at some point. John Hart certainly doesn't want to risk Don Smart getting baited into potentially a second yellow.
And it's really unfortunate because North Texas is down 4-0. But if you can get anything, a late goal, anything you can seize momentum into that next match, that's kind of out of the window now.
No, it's the second game of the season. It's not the end of the world. Yes, it's a heavy defeat, but you won the first game. Take your defeat like a man, and instead you're going to be short-handed for next week. It's just disappointing, really.
Credit to the officiating crew, of course. They sorted that out fairly well considering everything that just transpired.
Got it 100% right, Chris. There was no need for the kick with the ball out of bounds like that. It was clearly aimed at Walker. And you can't leave the bench and run 50 yards across to the other side of the field either. That's as red as they come.
If you're just joining us, yes, that scoreline is right. 4-0 Greenville. It's been all triumph in the second half for the most part. Been a tough night for North Texas, and now they're down to 10 men on the field. Viniegra intercepted by Walker. He'll get it right back, though.
Yeah, good work there from Viniegra. I was going to say good work from him. I thought maybe he had a chance at a strike there.
Almaguer fires and into the side netting. A good look.
It's more like it from North Texas. Viniegra hanging in there, even when he lost the ball here initially from the tackle from Walker. Went out wide with it, and a decent strike.
Ball floats along the sideline. Players down, and a foul is called. Fans, make sure to follow the Greenville Triumph and North Texas SC, and of course the rest of USL League One all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Join the more than 12 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch League One live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Good pass here. Kamongo driving into the box. Tripped up a bit under his feet, and Pollock takes it over.
A good double team there. They saw what Kamongo did last week with that chance. He's got very quick feet for the youngster. Here comes Ibarra.
Ibarra, up the middle of the field, plays it wide. Just enough on that for Smart, but it's back over to Corcoran.
Yeah, the key for Greenville now, as I mentioned earlier, Chris, just get out of this game without any further yellow cards, any further injuries.
Ball lofted in by Maldonado, headed on, but right into the open arms of Jay. That just the second shot on target tonight for North Texas SC.
And this one comes from the 15-year-old Matthew Corcoran, more of a defensive mid or holding mid. Again, as you mentioned, Chris, one of the most exciting talents in the FC Dallas organization, but good to see him pushing forward. So we see J.J. Donnelly.
Donnelly coming on, straight switch with McLean. Another Spinks substitution for you this evening. McLean, solid performance to say the least, an assist and then scoring himself as the match went on.
Yep, led the team with 4 shots on goal tonight.
Maldonado works it out of play.
As this one winds down, Chris, I want to wish my daughter Amelia a happy 10th birthday tomorrow, the big double digits. She'll be happy tonight with this Greenville win.
Happy birthday, 4 goals.
Yeah,
hey.
Nice birthday present for sure.
Alisson takes it down in the back. As North Texas tries to get an attack going here, trying to get that goose egg off the scoreboard here in the 83rd.
It'd be great if we could get both Greenville and Omaha going into that ESPN 2 game undefeated. I mean, there was enough on the line in that game, especially between the both teams and their fans with their social media banter. It's always good to watch. It'll be a big one for the national audience.
Yeah, that match was something else towards the end of last season.
It was. 3
bangers, really, from outside the box to finish off 2-1 in favor of Union Omaha. That was a fun one to call.
Both teams will be looking that unfinished business. And there's the aforementioned Alan Gavalenes. Almost gets hit by the substitution board.
Another New Jersey connection on this side, courtesy of John Harkes. Played 2 years with New York Red Bulls U23 and USL League 2, making 24 appearances. And of course, a star at Marist for his collegiate play. 2017 Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Spink substitution for you. Don Smart, day is done. Well-deserved break. He had the early assist to Andrew Booth. Ball headed on and back over to Sanchez.
No, another solid game by Don Smart. Doing exactly what he needs to do, find those gaps on that wing, get those crosses into the box. Came in, was that, I know he got the yellow card for it, but he provided that leadership and came in and defended his teammate Aaron Walker.
Yeah, the king of Kingston certainly finding a home in Greenville early on this season. Along the box, Ibarra floats it in there, still alive. The volleyed opportunity goes out of play.
Would have been quite the entrance for Gavalenis. A left-footed volley to make it 5-0 would have been nice, but I'm sure he'll take the appearance. His first as a Greenville player. And the scary thing is, Chris, as you mentioned earlier, no Pilato, no Morel. Greenville are doing this short-handed. 2 surefire starters there not playing tonight.
They've looked so good defensively, and credit to the defensive setup usually. Walker, Pilato, last year at least. You have Hemmings, once again, he played center back last week. He's slid into the 6 fairly well in this one, and they have been locked down. And one name we haven't mentioned, and we probably should, Paul Klaus, he's not back this year. And he was such a big name as well, along with Pilato and Walker in there in the midfield, and of course on their way to the League One final in 2019. It's been a solid unit for the Triumph over the years.
I mean, the loss of Klaus is obviously the addition of other players as well as sort of not forced John Harkes to change the formation. They were with that 4-2-3-1, and the loss, they really have that no true number 10, as I mentioned just yet. Maybe Andrew Booth grows into that role as the season goes on. McLean has played it nicely, so there's a sort of 9 with the 2 center forward roles, but he does play a little bit off low miss.
There you go. Triumph tying their best result here at home back in 2019. That was a hat-trick night for Carlos Gomez, who's now with Forward Madison. Parra back on the ball. The Triumph make their national TV debut in 2 weeks. Be sure to tune in to ESPN2 on May 16th to see the Triumph battle Union Omaha, or join us at Triumph Stadium by getting your tickets today.
As Doug Irwin says, it's going to be basically a 90-minute TV commercial for the Greenville Triumph. Obviously, plenty of people are familiar with the name of John Harkes, but Greenville are making a name for themselves as well with their performances on the field the first 2 seasons and again tonight.
COVID capacity sell tonight, so my best advice to you, if you want to go, get your tickets tonight. I know Mike Watts and Devin Kerr will have fun calling that one. Devin Kerr, connections to City of Omaha, and Mike Watts, old broadcast partner, was actually John Harkes. That should be a fun phone call ahead of the matchup. And a quick talk with Hemmings on the spot of the ball here in the 88th. Fricky tracking back, the 2020 League One Defender of the Year, clears it into the crowd.
So John Harkes mentioned on, I think it was on Twitter earlier, he was watching Sheffield Wednesday, trying to survive in the championship. It's not looking too good right now, but he'll also be watching next Saturday as his son Ian Harkes plays for Dundee United. They're in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup. Hopefully he'll be able to get to watch that one.
Rio Ramirez coming on to make his North Texas debut native of Arlington, Texas. Previously playing in the MPSL. Another Spinks substitution, their final one as Almaguer makes way.
Continuing this tradition of North Texas players wearing their first names on their jerseys. A few of them with that. Nice touch.
Great touch, but a bit too heavy. Over to Jay.
Yeah, the first touch was Kamungo, was the one I was talking about. Yeah, it was almost a great goal-scoring opportunity.
Now, since he's come on, Kamungo has really impacted the match from that wing. He has found multiple opportunities in the box.
He's young with plenty of energy. He only came on for 19 minutes last weekend and had 15 touches in only 19 minutes. Wants to get around the ball. That's exactly what you want to see from a youngster. No fear.
Greenville back on the attack. Here they come into the box. Knocked out of play. It's still in there. They wanted the handball. And they'll recycle back to midfield. Abdi Mohammed. Mohammed puts it in squarely. Corcoran guides it away. North Texas a chance at the break here. Kamungo on the run, met by Polak, looking for the professional foul, but instead just got in the way, and there won't be a foul.
Sly stuff from Polak. He didn't want to block his run, but he ran across the run. Referee let him get away with it. I think obviously Eric will be disappointed in the defeat, but hopefully his young team learns something from this. That's all you can ask. Not the worst time of the season for a result like this to happen. Hopefully it doesn't put a dent in their confidence. The young players can be such confidence-based players.
4 minutes of First Horizon stoppage time. Back over to Jay. Now, credit to Eric Quill. Beginning of last season was really rough for North Texas. They really bounced back. They climbed all the way to third at the end, and on the final match day, they even had a chance to get to that League One final. And they really turned around, so it's going to take a few matches. Their defense, we talked about it, their backline's getting back situated, and they will surely be a force to reckon with. And when they meet again, I believe in August, these two sides could be a really great matchup.
Yeah, listen, a lot more games this season as well compared to last year, so plenty of time to bounce back. You know, last year when you and I talked about, Chris, 3 or 4 losses and you were almost pretty much out of the championship game, and obviously the expanded playoffs this year. So obviously a few things to be concerned about for North Texas. The discipline with those red cards is disappointing. Not something you really want to see.
No.
Both players, I'm sure, will take their punishment and move on from it. I feel there might be some extra punishment for Kazu, though, coming all the way off the bench. We'll have to see what the league says about that.
The Triumph closing in on a huge home opening victory here to open up 2021. Had just a 16-match schedule last year with everything involved in the pandemic, and back open to a 28-match slate in 2021. One of 2 matches they'll have with North Texas. Pollock goes down, foul is called. Again, Greenville, they'll see North Carolina FC on the road next weekend. North Texas will host Chattanooga. Be the first match this season for the Red Wolves. A lot of new faces in Chattanooga. Of course, Greg Hurst and Connor Doyle heading over to Union Omaha in the offseason. Ibarra driving in, strikes it, blocked away by Waldeck.
The final score from Statesboro, Georgia. Late goal from Marco Micheletto. As Tormenta finished that one 3-1 victors. Nice win for them. Get off the Schneid.
Yeah, good job bouncing back after 2 losses to open the season.
Many people picked Tormenta as one of those surprise teams, perhaps, that could reach the playoffs. Not surprised, but they obviously had some troubles, especially with injuries in the first couple of years in League One.
You talk about how excellent their start was in 2019. If you slice that season in half, they would have been in the final.
100%.
Free kick for the Triumph on the right side.
Tyler Polak's coming all the way over. He doesn't want to just tap this one and run the timeout. He wants a fifth.
Mohamed, Polak over the ball. Polak takes it, swings it in. Headed back over, Maldonado the volley. Now Lomas, quick turn, fires, and stopped by Sanchez.
The key block from Maldonado. JJ Darling was waiting right there on the doorstep.
There's the final whistle, a dream start and finish for the Triumph in their home opener. 4-0 over North Texas SC, and at least in the early part of this season, they are leading the table with 6 points out of 2 matches. It's Greenville Triumph 4, North Texas nothing in our final score, presented by Priority 1 Security. Let's take a look at our save of the match for tonight's action. Dallas J facing 2 shots on target overall in the proceedings tonight. Save of the match presented by Bravo 1 Protection.
This is good patient build up here by North Texas. This is what we're used to seeing from there. Didn't see much of it tonight though. This was an easy one for Dallas J. But listen, man's there when he has to be there.
That was your Bravo 1 Protection save of the match, and when that's your save of the match, pretty good night for them. The Triumph, their second clean sheet overall. The assistants for North Texas just received red cards as proceedings continue here.
Well, that's disappointing leadership. Again, you got young players watching what's happening here. As coaches, you just need to take your defeat and walk away and go back at it again in training on Monday.
A frustrating night for North Texas SC, but John Harkes, the Greenville Triumph, beginning to celebrate now. 4 goals on the board and their second clean sheet of the season just through 2 matches. We'll wrap things up here from Greenville, South Carolina in the next few moments with full-time stats and highlights. What a way to finish their home opener. 4-0 Greenville. Their post-game report presented by Priority 1 Security.
When you donate blood with the Blood Connection, you're helping to save lives right here in your community. Donate blood with the Blood Connection, your community blood center.
Welcome back here to Greenville, South Carolina. 4-0, Greenville wins it in our Priority 1 Security post-game report. And here, Lachlan McLean with your GSP Airport high-flying play of the match.
Now, a delightful ball into the seam from Tyler Polak. Good first touch from McLean. Whether it was with his arm, we're not sure, but a composed finish past Richard Sanchez.
4th goal of the night for him on the board for the Triumph. And our full-time highlights, the GSP high-flying plays of the match. Here they are, the Triumph starting early. Lomas in the 7th.
Yep, 7th minute goal from one of those set pieces that Eric Quill warned us about. North Texas did have a couple of great chances, though, in this first half. Perhaps change the way this game was going. This was one of them. Alex Bruce watching it go past the far post, head in hands.
Mohamed Smart, they were combining all night on that right wing, and here's what came about from it. Smart, Booth, 2-0.
Yeah, it was lovely movement by Booth. He just sort of drifted back into the space. Waldeck let him have that space, and a wonderful finish with the left foot. Here's that second quality chance. Great footwork from Avayevu. Another one just wide.
There come the Triumph once more.
Yeah, Tyler Polak, another part of this goal. We didn't get the assist, but he made a big impact. His beautiful finish with the outside of the foot by Lomas.
Pinpoint finish by Lomas to get his brace on the night. And then Polak, here it is again. McLean finding his tally.
Probably one of the best games I've seen in a Greenville shirt for Tyler Polak, Chris. He was all over the place. Up, back, we've got the clean sheet. Big impact everywhere, just like the veteran should be.
Look at our full-time match stats. 13 shots, 7 on target for Greenville with 4 goals coming from it. They held North Texas to just 2 shots on target. Compare that with just 1 shot on target by Richmond last week. What a start for this defense in 2021.
No, clinical finishing and discipline on the defensive side of things. That was always going to be the difference tonight for Greenville. Unfortunately, North Texas didn't have that discipline, both at the back as well as those red cards from both players and coaches. Disappointing to see.
Yeah, at the very least, Kazu and also Ryo will be unavailable for the match against Chattanooga for North Texas next Saturday. We'll see what else happened on the field. Of course, we know about the assistant coaches getting some red cards, but we'll see if anything else happened, of course. Unfortunate ending, but a 4-0 victory for Greenville, and the action continues in USL League One on ESPN Plus tomorrow. It's Richmond and Fort Lauderdale. 7 p.m. Eastern Time start for you.
Yeah, interesting one. Richmond trying to bounce back from that, obviously, defeat against Greenville.
Fort Lauderdale, a win under their belt already against Tormenta, 1-0 on the road. They've shown their pop with their young talent, so we'll see if Richmond can head all the way down to South Florida, get 3 points, and bring it back home for them. Well, thank you for joining us for the action tonight. Greenville, what a dream start here for their home campaign in 2021. 4-0 victors over North Texas. For our entire crew alongside me, Ross Davenport, thanks for joining us here, CW62 and ESPN+. 4-0 victory for Greenville, presented by Priority One Security.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.